computers by 5 to 1. And memory sticks and portable memory is just a nightmare if you want to secure your computing. What happened in England, I think, was the worst incident where somebody from the National Tax Agency lost a USB stick with 200,000 records on it in a taxi. There was a big panic, and they chased that taxi throughout London. And it's pretty hard to chase anything in London because nothing ever moves. And finally, after a few days, they found that USB stick, and yeah, of course, the guy that lost it is probably doing something else, like produce hamburgers at Burger King, perhaps. I don't know. With BitLocker to go, you can secure any external device and just enter a passcode on it, to it. And let's just have a quick look at that. Because again, that's so easy to do. Just right-click the disk. I turn on BitLocker, and it takes a look at the external drive, and it will ask me for a code, and it starts encrypting it. After I encrypt it, I can drag and drop files onto it. It will automatically protect those files, and if somebody else uses my USB stick, they can still have a look at that data, but they cannot copy it, they cannot change it, and they cannot do anything to it other than view it. Well, I can type a password here and make it start, but then we will have to wait for it for 5 minutes because it's some gigabytes, so I won't finish it right now. And that's another way of making your users more secure. You can also use AppLocker. That's an application locker, and that helps you to protect users against themselves. So when they go online and they are prompted to install stuff, sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's pretty bad stuff, sometimes it's something in between. Especially if your users travel a lot, if they work from home or if they're in sales and they travel, there's no telling what they are installing every time they go online. AppLocker helps you protect them, also on their remote machines. And let's open it up. And the cool thing is how precise you can be in protecting your users. So in Vista, we had something similar to this, but it was actually a blacklist, which meant that you had to define a number of publishers or programs that went onto the blacklist, and nobody could install those. But all the time new stuff is being introduced, and you have to add it to the blacklist, and it's a lot of work. So now we are working with a whitelist. You can actually say, well, these are allowed, everything else is not allowed. And you still have the choice, because you will see here that it's by default on allow. You could still work with the blacklist and choose the deny policy. But let's allow a number of programs for publishers, and I'm going to browse to give it an example. So here's this program called, or application called Internet Explorer, and when I click on that file, it automatically knows this is version 8. So I can prove that you can install Internet Explorer 8 for any version above. So if something new is launched, updates, I will allow for those. Or I can be a little more liberal, and I can say, well, as long as it's IE Explorer, I will allow you to install that. I don't mind if there's a number of versions in my company, that's fine with me. Or no, anything that's called Windows, Internet Explorer, as a program or application name, I will allow for that. Or no, I actually trust this publisher. I've heard of Microsoft and they're pretty good. I'll let them install stuff on the PCs. Or I'll open it up for any publisher, which of course is inviting anybody in. So you can see how easy it is to define your users right? And it also depends on how smart your users are. And that's different for everyone. So that's AppLocker. And I hope it will keep me out of trouble, because I'm a big offender, I am told. How are we doing for time? We're still good for time? Okay. What else did I want to show you? Yeah, so people are traveling and they're remote users, and every now and then they come into the office. As an IT pro, that is your opportunity. You can have a look at that PC and see how it's doing, see what they've done to it, see where it's been, and see what you probably want to fix on that machine. There's now Windows auditing, and in Windows auditing, you as the IT pro take that user's PC and you just go into this menu for a few minutes and you go through all of the history and what has been done to it, stuff that was changed or added, and it's a very quick autopsy, if you will, to see what happened to your PC. A great way of getting a really quick overview of stuff that happened and needs to be fixed. Well, that's that. I want to show you something called let's see, what have we not done? I think I've been trying to catch up with time, and I've done such a good job that I've shown you everything I wanted to show. Any questions about Windows 7? Does it look cool? Would you like a copy? Don't go home too early. That's all I can say. Stay till the end, and you may be lucky. Well, thanks. I think we're going to change over to the Windows 7. No, we're going to do MDOP. Desktop virtualization. Yeah. So we're just going to switch over, and that should be easy now that we have